Hey everybody, got another awesome video for you today. We are visiting another bike shop today, but this stuff's all brand new, and we're going to talk about some of the differences between the old school BMX bikes and the new BMX bikes, and what can be done to modify older BMX bikes to have some of the features of the new ones. So today we're here at Westshore Bicycle Shop in Langford, British Columbia, and again I'll give you the link and everything in the description down below, and their information if you want anything in their store. And of course I've got the GT here with me because we're going to bring it in and ask him a few questions about modifying this to make it more like some of the newer BMX bikes. So let's go in and check out the store. I was talking to a guy named Chris. He said it was cool if we came in to film, so let's go in and check it out. Hello. Hey, I was just talking to a guy named Chris.
Yeah.
He said it was cool if I filmed while I was in here. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey,
so
Miles has got a little bit more information for.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So this is my new old GT bike that I just bought.
For sure.
It's a 99 Vertigo, and it's the same frame as the Pro Performer.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a few things. I'm watching the X Games and stuff, and I'm watching some of the tricks they're doing. Can't be done on this bike because it's got the old style drive, right? Like when you force the pedal wheel backwards, the pedals spin backwards, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm watching these guys do reverse manuals and stuff now, and they've got like a freewheel hub that spins backwards but doesn't force the pedals backwards.
Totally. Yeah.
So what can you tell me, and the people on YouTube, what can you tell me about that, and can this bike be modified to do that?
You definitely can do it. So yeah, it's basically a free coaster hub, so it disengages the hub when the bike goes backwards.
Yeah.
There's two main routes to go about it. If you want to keep it as looking as similar to as it is now, you could build up the hub to the current rim.
Okay.
Or you could just replace the whole rear wheel.
Replace the whole rear wheel.
And that's gonna mess up the original kind of aesthetic.
Yeah, and also most of the new wheels take the wider, bigger tires, right? Are the rims actually different size, or is it just the tire?
The newer rims are usually slightly wider.
Okay.
That tire would go on the rim. I would suggest, like, if for this particular build, I would suggest just doing the hub.
Yeah, I kind of want to keep it old school looking. I even got the original tires with this bike. They're a little worn out, but I have the original GT airbags that came on this bike 30 years ago. Totally. Yeah. So I've got those. So I'm trying to keep it OG, right? The differences that I had on my Pro Performer was the handlebars. On this one, they have the rounded bottoms.
Yeah.
And on the Pro Performer, it had the wedge triangle bars, but they still had the same gussets on the side, so they're really close, but not the same. And then, of course, I've always had one-piece cranks. I never bent them when I was younger, but now I'm older and heavier and will fall more, so maybe I might need to upgrade those. Can you guys get GT stuff? Any of the aftermarket stuff?
I can't get anything GT.
No? Okay.
I can get a ton of BMX branded parts for sure, but just not GT branded stuff. Right,
because they did make a 3-piece upgrade kit for this bike back in the day. It was called the Power Series or something like that.
Something
GT
like
Power
that.
Series.
Yeah, even a GT dealer, it's unlikely you're going to be able to get that. It's going to be most likely an eBay thing.
Well, yeah, and they were repros, right?
Yeah.
So they weren't they were stamped with GT, but they weren't the
original ones. Yeah.
Original ones. Sure. I mean, if you could find some of those, they'd probably be expensive.
Totally.
Like you said, eBay or something. I had before this bike. Well, before the 2000 I had. The 2000 was in that translucent orange, and it's done over chrome. So I was like, perfect, this bike's chrome. So if I get it powder coated translucent orange, it'll look like my 2000, which had the exact same frame with a few differences. But before that, back in the day, I had an 89 the first half of the year, Pro Freestyle Tour. Okay. And it was in the Dayglow pink, that super neon, awesome dark pink. And I had the special sticker package. It was called the Crash Test Dummy stickers. They only had it for half a year, and then they stopped it, and then they did it again later in the 90s. But that bike got stolen from me after I had it for a couple of years, and I was super bummed out. And now I'm looking online, and to find one of those that year in that condition, in that color, $10,000. $2,000.
Yeah, the older BMX, they can be worth a lot now.
I'm like blown away. I was like, I had that bike, man, and it was probably only $450 new, right? Yeah. Which was a lot of money back then, right? But anyway, so I wanted to get back in the old school riding, but I want to try to upgrade this. Totally. So what kind of parts do we need to put on this hub?
Yeah, so the
other thing, before I get crazy with that, the other thing is it's 3/8 axles, right? Yeah. And I want to upgrade to the 14 millimeter, obviously, right?
We'd have to look into that some more because there is obviously the drop out is going to have to accommodate that.
Actually, the dropouts are already wide enough to take a 14.
Perfect. Yeah. So basically what I'll do is we can sign the bike in. I'll take some measurements, the hub spacing, the width and everything, and then make sure everything's compatible. And then it'd basically be a hub. I'll try and find you a silver one, ideally, to kind of keep everything looking OEM, and then and look at some spokes.
All right, that sounds good. I can't let you take it today though, because I just got it and I have to take it for a ride today. I actually bought some used pegs I'm going to put on it in about 10 minutes, but I wanted to come in and check out what can be done, can it be done, and you say it can. So what kind of price range are we looking at to do something like that? And maybe, do you have one of those freewheel bikes here that we could look at?
I think I might have a BMX.
I saw you saw some. Okay, let's take a look at your BMX bikes.
As far as price goes, I'm gonna have to really kind of price it all out.
Okay, yeah, I understand. I have a business too, and I'm the same. I'm like, I can't just throw numbers at you, man. I gotta come up with the real numbers. So that's fine. You can call me back or something. What is that?
That there.
That's a Haro.
Yeah,
oh,
so
wow.
That should have that freewheel. I'll pull it down.
All right,
for
here
you.
you go, guys. Here's the brand new Haros.
Yeah.
I haven't ridden a Haro in years. I actually went to go look at 2 Haro Masters before I bought this GT. One was the 2018 reproduction of the 1988 model. So they did like a, what do you call it, like a anniversary or something like that. I think they called it the Heritage or something. So that's pretty cool looking bike.
That one's just the regular drive. They do
That's the regular drive, okay.
Yeah, they do make a very similar one, very similar price.
Yeah.
With that same coaster.
So these are, what gear's on the front? Is it 22?
I believe it's a 22, yeah.
So they go 22.9 now, which looks weird to old school BMXers, and they think, aren't your pedals going to swing around a lot more? But no, because it's the exact same gear ratio. Exactly. Yeah. They just made them smaller on the front and smaller on the back, so you have the same gear ratio. Like, why didn't they think of that sooner, right?
I know, right?
Like, because now you're
way better ground.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot more clearance here, and you're not going to bend the gears up as much. And if you do hit it, it's smaller, so it's going to be stronger, right? That's a really cool bike. I mean, I like it. They're definitely lighter, but not as light as I thought they would be.
Yeah,
because there's still some beef to them, right?
No, they're still built to be indestructible.
The one thing I do like about these new style is the headstock setup. Yeah. Like the head setup.
You already have the setup for a gyro on that one as well if you want to.
Right, and these just go straight through and clamp on at the top. There's no bearing cups pressed into
Exactly, yeah. And so they're all cartridge bearings.
Yeah. And what I like is it doesn't have that gooseneck or whatever you call it, the quail tail is what they used to call it. Yeah. Because that's what's on my GT. Yeah. I mean, they work if they're super, super tight. Yeah. But they can still turn. Exactly. Like if you hit the ramp the wrong way, it's like you can tweak it and your handlebars go a little crooked, and then got to get the wrenches out. Yeah. And of course, we'd never do that. We'd just do the old bang, 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 bang. And then of course it makes it worse, right? Because you're actually stripping the thing inside and it's tearing metal away. And so these are, the other thing I noticed about these bikes is the handlebars are a bit taller. Yeah, so they're taller. They're also going to be a little bit wider as well. Yeah. Now the GT triangle bars were wide. Yeah. They were even wider than this. They were like, for some reason, ridiculously wide. Yeah. But I liked them. But these ones feel more like a racing, like BMX racing to me. Like these handlebars feel up high to me. But that's just because I'm used to the low. Yeah. So like I can see the benefits of this though. Like obviously more knee clearance for one, for sure. And then two, just your point of balance is going to be higher when you pull on the bars to do like a bar spin or something, right? So that's pretty cool. So do any of these other bikes have the freewheel setup, or
I don't have any on the floor at the moment, unfortunately.
That's all right.
But yeah, they do have a very, very similar model with that free coaster.
Yeah,
yeah.
So this one's just kind of like my GT. It'll push it pushes the pedals backwards. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like I see these guys, they're doing reverse manuals with the pedals still.
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's crazy. That looks so cool. But you could not possibly do that without that free coaster hub. It's like that trick only evolved after the hub became a reality,
yeah,
right?
There's a ton of tricks and new tricks that you can't do with an older setup.
Exactly. All right, well that one's really nice. What's the price tag on that?
That one I believe is $750
That's not bad, actually.
$785, yeah.
And it comes with the nice. What brakes are those? They're like the old 990s, but they're not.
Yeah, very simple, full cast aluminum arms and everything. So
they pull really easy.
Yeah,
like they are
really
super nice.
Pull ratio on those.
They almost feel hydraulic. They're so smooth.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm looking for my bike is some of the older, or maybe they make newer ones now with the locking pin. So you can lock the brake.
Okay,
Because some of the old school tricks, you could lock the back wheel and then do some hopping stuff with it, and with the handlebars spinning and stuff. Totally. You know, old school stuff. But I mean, they're really sought after. The old calipers from the old 80s and 90s. They were called the Tech 7s or whatever, Tech 77s or something. Do you have any old used parts and nothing?
Nothing like that.
Everything in your store looks pretty new. I'm going to take a quick walk around the store and show people your amazing shop. But it looks like you got all brand new stuff, which is totally different from the bike shop we visited the other day, which is all used stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which is where I got my bike, but they didn't have much in the way of upgrading it, right?
Definitely a harder market to come by for sure.
Yeah. Okay, last question about the upgrades. Can I upgrade my GT to have this style? I heard there's a kit out there now.
You can do it. The only issue with it is the fork itself is threaded.
Yes.
So it's going to need a new fork.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm assuming all the parts would have to be replaced.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're going to need a new fork, but that's a 1 inch, and these are bigger, right? These are 1 1/8. So I heard that there's a sleeve kit or something.
Yeah. If it is a smaller diameter, you would need a sleeve kit.
Yeah.
It's not.
Or actually, sorry, the sleeve kit would be for the other way around, putting the old school on this. That's what the guy was switching parts back and forth, and he was saying you can put a sleeve kit on this because this one's bigger, so putting a sleeve in makes it smaller, which allows for the 1 inch forks to go on this bike. But he said to put those forks on that bike is not possible because they're already wider, so you have to use the old style forks, but use there's some sort of kit where you can put this sort of a headstock without the quail tail. I don't know anything about it.
You can get a piece that threads on. If that's a smaller diameter, you can get a piece that threads on to that stem. Yeah. That clamps as well.
Yeah, I think that's how it works because they all the old ones are threaded.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, they're all threaded. So if it's a different diameter, then a sleeve that is notched to clamp, threads on, and then you could probably put that stem over top. I haven't personally seen that or worked with that.
I just saw, like I said, the guy was talking about it, but he didn't show one.
Okay.
But he had a nice bike shop, and he was swapping parts, and he's going, you can do this, but you can't do that. You can do this, but you can't, on switching parts back and forth. Also, there's a kit, you can put this smaller gear and 3-piece crank setup with the sealed bearing on the older bikes. Yeah, but same thing, it's kind of a sleeve kit. You have to put it in there.
It's a particular bottom bracket.
Yeah.
That would replace
So there's a whole piece that fits in there to fill the gap, I'm assuming, because it's bigger, right? The old ones are big and these ones are smaller.
Yeah, so basically it's just a bottom bracket that accommodates the wider shell diameter of the bottom bracket.
And then the bearings go into that.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that work with the regular 3-piece crank set.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know what we can and can't do, and maybe I'll leave you my number and stuff. Maybe you could get me a price on upgrading this, or just like even a ballpark. But I know what you mean. You can't just throw numbers around. I do the same with my customers. They always say, "How much? How much?" It's like, well, let me figure it out first, and then I want to make up some random number for you. So yeah, if you just want to take my number. Yeah, I might even just have a business card I could just give you, make it easy. And then I'm just going to take a poke around your shop and because you got some cool stuff in here besides that Haro. That is a cool bike.
Yeah, totally.
There's my business card. You can just keep that one.
Keep it all filled out. And then the number here is good for contact.
Yeah, that's my personal cell number, yeah. All right, and the other thing I'm not sure I like on my bike is the seat. I see you got some new seats here.
Yeah, do you have some seats?
Some
if you're looking
pretty
for something
wild
more
stuff.
BMX style, have some chrome egg seats at the back there.
Okay.
In red and purple.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, I like that one. That's neato. I mean, the seat I got on, it's not bad. But somebody put a more modern seat on. It's definitely not an OG GT plastic seat. Yeah. It's got a little bit of padding on it like this, but it's definitely not as nice as this. What do these go for?
Those guys?
That's really cool.
Yeah, there should be on the back there.
Oh. Oh, not bad. $90. Yeah, and that's the same. So it's just a rail mount. I think that would fit on the one I have. I'm sure you have the kits if you don't.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you would replace the seat post with the regular rail style system.
Yeah, well, I got the OG post, so I'd like to keep that. It's stamped OG GT.
Yeah,
but the piece at the top, the different top piece, yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm just going to take a poke around your shop here.
Yeah, go for it.
These guys have a lot of cool stuff, and of course, we'll put the link and email and stuff in the description box in case there's something here you guys see that you like. Wow, they got a lot of cool gear, a lot of riding gear. This is stuff you didn't see at the other shop because they were all used, and this is all brand new stuff. The latest, greatest riding gear, helmets, everything down to the drink bottles. And then over here we got shoes for different types of bicycle sports. Not like the old days when it was all Vans. Vans. I don't even see that brand anymore. And then I got all this stuff here. What is this? Oh, that's for putting tires on. That's cool. Right on. Got tires, tubes. Over here they got helmets. That's something I'm gonna have to upgrade to, is I need a better helmet. I've got a really crappy helmet at home, and I think I'd probably better get a full-face helmet if I go to the concrete skate parks. That one's obviously a little small for me. That looks like a kid's helmet, but they do have a lot of helmets up here, so I'm sure they have something in my size. This is also something I should probably think about, is some elbow and knee guards, stuff like that. I used to have a pair of knee and shin guards that were a combo, and I really liked them. I might get something like that again. In fact, I think that's what I hurt most, was my shins. It sure hurts when that pedal comes around. It smacks you right in the shin. It's indescribable pain. Unless you've done it, then you know. So they got a lot of cool stuff here. They got bike tubes, tires. They got shorty helmets. They do a lot of mountain bike stuff here, which is obviously the trend these days. So they got a lot of mountain bikes. All the stores do these days. They have a lot of mountain bikes, very little BMX. It's just the way the trends have gone. There's a lot of these new BMX style 26-inch bikes that are popping up now, though. It's kind of cool, but to me it just looks like an oversized, goofy BMX to me. But so they got the new Norco line here. I really like the colors on these. Some of the old school colors are coming back. Like this is, you would see something like this in the 50s, right? And now these colors are becoming popular again. And then up here, they've got some cruisers and stuff. Bike locks, all sorts of stuff. Full rack of Norcos down here. These look like more like women's bikes. And up here we got the men's and cruisers. Oh, I like that finish. That's kind of a satin lavender. Very cool. I haven't seen a color like that on a bike in a long time. I like seeing some of the brighter colors coming back, like these hot pinks and stuff. It reminds me of the old school days. I love it. And then up here we got bicycle grips, cleaners and detailing for your bicycle. Like this is when you get really serious about cleaning your bike. Clean and lube kits. This is basically like detailing kits they have for cars, but now it's for bikes. And we got the handle grips. I like the handle grips that are on my bike, but they are a bit worn out, so I might need to upgrade them. I might just try to find some real GT ones, but then there's so much new stuff and new technology. Like these grips feel really amazing. Like I can't even describe how grippy they feel. They feel like they just cling to your hand, but they're not sticky. Very weird. 45 bucks, that's not bad. I actually really like those. Made by Reflex. Never seen these ones before. Those are really, really nice. And they got a different setup on the bottom than the top. So obviously the way your fingers wrap around, this is where your fingers are supposed to sit, and it fits really nice. Those are super cool. I think I might get a set of those. They make them in a couple different colors, and they actually have a little, I just noticed they have a little screw collar. Look at that. That is brilliant. So it has a collar that you screw tight, and it clamps onto the onto the handlebars, much like a bike seat clamp, built right into the handle grip. That's really cool. I think I might have just found something that's not GT that I really like, that might go on the GT. Those are nice. Oh, this other guy had these handles, these flared handles, only his were leather. They're kind of neat. They're like this flared shape. Not really good for BMX, I don't think. Oh, here's some in a different, this isn't leather. Oh yeah, maybe it is. Those are really nice. Look at the quality on those. Look at that, same thing, clamps on, all brushed aluminum. This is all leather here, and this is rubber. That is super nice. Not the style I'd put on my bike, but they got, I don't know if this toolkit's for sale or if it's just got their parts so that they got stuff in it. They got all kinds of probably little bits and bobs kicking around. Here we got some of the electric bikes. This is really neat. Never seen anything like that one before. And then we got a really long bike here. I don't know what it's called. Spicy Curry. Now that is a really neat looking electric bike. It's got a huge platform back here. You can put a lot of different stuff on there, and it's really built tough. You can tell it's like really beefy welds. Like this is some serious business here. You could put quite a load on that. Just looking at the wheels too, it's very beefy. It's got a Bosch motor and a Bosch battery pack. Disc brakes, very nice. Over here we've got a Norco. This is the probably really nice, you know, top of the line Norco stuff. Look at the gear setup on this thing, crazy. Look at this. Okay, the chain goes up and over a second sprocket, then goes to the chain drive on the wheel, goes through the gear selector, and then back up to the sprocket. Have you ever seen that? I've never ever seen that before. That's really cool. I wonder what the benefits of that are. We'll have to ask the owner here, but check it out. So the trailing arm is higher than normal. It's pivoted at both ends. So it has a pivot here and a pivot here. That obviously works with the upper arm for the shock absorber. But I'm not sure what the benefit of having this extra gear here. I guess because the wheel is so much higher because of this arm design, that they need the chain to go up higher before it can go to the back wheel. That's really neat. Can't say I've ever seen that before. And then over here we got another electric bike with a big platform. They're really building these bikes heavy now. Like these welds and the bars are super thick. Like you could put a lot of weight on these. Obviously that's what it's designed for. It's just such a huge platform. You could carry a lot of stuff home from the hardware store on this bike. All right, so here we have some more mountain bikes. These are more of the high-end stuff. We got some what is called Specialized. Looks like a brand I've never seen before, but I'm not into this kind of biking, so they might have been around for a long time. Now this is definitely something I've never seen before. Look at the way the bike seat is mounted. It's got like this adjustable piece that you can move back. That's cool. Some of the innovation on these bikes are really amazing. But then of course, you get what you pay for, right? I really like the colors on these Norcos. They've really stepped up with their colors. They got these satin colors over here, and they got the bright stuff, like the day glow stuff is coming back. The Maui colors are coming back. You don't see this on the BMX bikes though. The new BMX bikes are all really dark colors. However, they do have one yellow one over there that we're gonna go look at in a second. But they've got more of these Specialized brand. Specialized. Electrics, little kids bikes. More Norcos. These are really nice bikes. Here we get into the Haros. And I love that they're bringing back the day glow pink on some of their bikes. Even if it's not a BMX bike, it's just nice. I really like the finish on this one. It's kind of like a hyper metallic blue. It almost looks anodized, but it's paint. Very cool. Got some smaller bikes here. These look like about 26-inch Haros. Back in the day, my friend rode Haro and I rode the GTs, and we had a rival. Although they were both good bikes. We always pretended we hated each other's bikes. Here's another Haro. I really like the color on this. It's kind of a mustard yellow, I would say. Very neat. But again, same kind of setup. A lot of these bikes are very simple now. They have just a rear brake or no brakes at all. They have fatter tires, which I'm assuming is going to give you a little more shock absorbing ability when you land those big jumps at the concrete skate parks, right? And then we got the 3-piece cranks on this one. Really nice decals on it. Like, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it's really detailed decals with like birds and stuff. And there's this, looks like a ramp there. And then we got these decals at the front. Very cool. I really like the idea of these tires. They're more like a small motorcycle tire. They could take a lot more impact, obviously, but they do look a little weird compared to the old school tires, so it might look weird on my bike. And then over here, they got bike racks and baskets, brand new tires. I see they have a shop in the back too. We'll just take a quick look over there. Looks like they do full service on bikes, tune-ups and restorations. So if you need your bike repaired and you're in the area, come check these guys out, because they got a lot of cool stuff. I think they're little workshops just back here. Let's take a, so this is where they work on your bikes. Nice little shop, very clean, very organized. You know they're going to take good care of your bike here. They got lots of new parts for you, and I'm sure they can do anything you need when it comes to tune-ups or builds. Got some really nice gear sets and stuff, and you know they're nice when they're in the glass cage. All right, I really like some of these jackets and stuff. They're like that light material that breathes just right. This is much nicer to ride in than like a jacket like I'm wearing, because this gets too hot once you start riding. These are nice. Very nice. All right, I think I got everything in your shop on video, man. Got a nice shop, and I'll put your link and stuff so people know where to find you.
Awesome, really appreciate it.
One last panoramic view for the folks. You guys got a lot of bikes in here. A lot of bikes. All ages, sizes, price ranges. And the BMX bikes they have are really nice. I really like this Haro. I kind of like this one better, but I like the color on that one too. I've never actually ridden one of these newer ones, though. I'd have to take one for a rip and really feel the difference in the design. There's so much different about them. The tires are so much bigger, and the handlebars are taller, and the gears are shorter, but same ratio. A lot of the things they've modified is just to make them tougher, though, because, you know, when you're slamming this thing on a concrete skate park and you wipe out and it goes bouncing across the skate park, you got to know it's going to be in one piece when you go find it. All right, man. So I'll just leave you my number if you want to get back to me, or I took some measurements on the wheel and hub and everything. The only issue is the primary issue. So the dropouts are only 10 mil spacing. Oh, really?
14 mil.
So I got 14 on the front, but 10 on the back?
Very common for the fronts to be wider.
So we got to drill it a bit or grind it a little bit?
That's one option. Of course, I wouldn't be able to recommend that, but that's something you could look into on your own.
Well, I mean, we're talking about a couple millimeters, right? So
exactly, yeah.
Not a lot of meat taken off there, but then it is definitely not original chrome OG.
Yeah.
Now it's modified.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other issue is the rim itself is a 48 hole. Very ancient. Everything nowadays, which is those modern free coaster hubs, are all 36 hole max.
So they've gone back to 36s.
Yeah, so everything, a lot of the new hubs are as low as 28 hole.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that when they went to 48s? Because they were so much stronger.
The rim technology has advanced so much nowadays that they can make a rim with only 28 hole spoke.
And it's as strong as
it's just as strong as an older 36 or 48 hole.
Okay.
It's much lighter, easier to flick around.
So are you saying it's probably going to be cheaper, easier to swap the whole wheel out?
It's probably going to be, I can't find any hub from at least my suppliers. I can't find
that can do the 48 spokes?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Your best bet is going to be trying to find a 36 hole rim that looks similar, which I can look into for you
right.
as well.
Yeah.
The only thing is I think it looks like your front might be slightly less spokes.
No, it's a 48 too, but it's straight spoke.
Right.
And the rear one's laced.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they did that on those GTs. I think it's because there were all those old school tricks. There was a lot of riding on the side of the wheel. Yeah. You know, so it was really torquing it. So I think on the front wheel, they went with the straight spokes to get a better angle on the rim.
Typically,
something like that.
It's for stiffness.
Yeah.
The straight pole is much stiffer.
That's what I figured, yeah.
It is most
because I know it came like that because my 2000 was exactly the same. Yeah. Straight spoke on the front, lace spokes on the rear.
Yeah, it is very common.
Yeah, okay.
On a lot of bikes.
So the hubs that you can get that will allow me to upgrade that to a free coaster are only available in 28s and 36s.
Yeah, pretty much
as far as
the
you
ones
know.
that I'm seeing, they're all going to be 36, which is what I would recommend.
Right.
For this setup. And pretty much all of them I've found so far are 14 mil. I've found one that it doesn't tell me what the width is, so it might be a 10 mil with a 14 mil adjustable spacer.
Okay.
But it's something I'll look into more here for you.
But I could buy something like what's on that Haro over there and just bolt them on if I modified my back dropout that extra.
Totally, yeah. So basically
3 millimeters or whatever, 4 millimeters. Yeah. So two on each side. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I mean, that's not that much meat. There's plenty there.
Yeah.
It would handle it, but then it wouldn't be a OG
durable
frame anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to be a bike that I'm going to try to resell and get high value for, though. I'm even going to I'm going to change the finish on it.
Yeah, if you're changing the finish and those kind of mods.
So it's not going to matter. So I'm thinking if I do that modification, I do that first and then powder coat it so it hides the grind work. Yeah, because the transparent orange they had in the 2000 years was really super cool color, but it's done over chrome.
Yeah.
So I've never been a big chrome guy. It's nice, and it was always the more expensive finish because it's chrome plated and it's cost more to get it done. And everybody wanted the chrome back in those days. Like if that was back in the day, that would be the higher end. Like that would cost more than the same bike in a black or whatever. But I've never liked chrome that much. I always like to have a color and then chrome pieces to accent it. That always looked better to me. That's why I liked the 2000, because it was that metallic-y translucent orange, but the handlebars, forks, and a few other pieces, and the seat posts were all chrome.
Yeah.
So it really just set it off, right? And then all black hardware. So that was really cool. I'm trying to go back to that, and it's the same frame. So like I've even considered the idea of when I'm done putting Pro Performer stickers on it instead of the Vertigo, because it is literally the identical frame. The only thing different are the handlebars, forks. Mine had the Pac-Man forks.
Oh, okay.
They had the Pac-Mans on them to go around the pegs and hold them real stiff on the forks, so that way it made it harder to bend an axle.
Exactly.
And it worked, man. I loved those forks, but they're hard to find now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
eBay's got a couple out there, but there was two thicknesses. The original ones were thinner, and I bent those. And then the Dyno GT ones were exactly the same, but much thicker metal. And I put those on, never bent them again. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is the hub, the setup I got on that wheel, converting it, as far as you know right now, can't really be done because you can't get the 48 hub.
Yeah, with that rim.
With that rim.
Yeah, so I should be able to find a very similar rim in a 36 hole, in that kind of same style and same profile.
I wouldn't mind going black.
Okay.
Because when I'm done changing it to orange, all the hardware that's on it's already black.
Totally.
And I might change a few other things to make it more black.
For sure.
And I can't remember, I'm gonna have to go back and look, but I can't remember if I had the polished aluminum look like that or if they were black. I can't remember.
Okay.
But I remember it having a lot of black pieces on it. And I know it had the same wheels, but it had the 14. That's another question, is I know I had those same wheels, but I also know they were 14s, the axles.
Okay.
So can I put 14 mil axles in those wheels and just change the bearing?
Usually not. I'm not 100% sure on those particular hubs.
Okay.
Like a lot of hubs, you have the option, like a lot of new hubs at least, you have the option to run different size axles.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hole through there, right? As long as the axle fits through there, the bearing can be changed, right?
Exactly. A lot of it really depends on the internals of the hub. It's something I would definitely check like Reddits and see what.
Yeah, you basically got to take it apart and see.
Pretty much, yeah. And then of course, if you can get the actual axle itself and all the parts
right
to do that. Yeah, because it's going to be proprietary to the hub itself. And
well, a lot of the older, that like 2000s and older, like for 20 years, they were all really similar.
Exactly.
So I think like if I got some older,
similar,
that bike shop I bought it from, he had a couple of Alex rims there, which are single wall, but back in the day they were making them for GT, Mongoose, and Redline. In fact, I think my original GT might have had Alex rims, if I recall.
Totally.
But he had a couple there with 14 mil axles. So I was thinking, well, if I'll buy those super cheap off him and just steal the axles and put them in my wheels.
Yeah,
so that's why I was asking, is that possible?
It potentially could be, for sure.
I think it can be.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Me neither, but I am sure I had those wheels, and I am sure they were 14. So it's like, it's unlikely that they made a different wheel for the 14. It's probably the same wheel and hub. It's just the axles.
It is common, especially in the older stuff. It is more common that they'd use the same shell. Yeah. So it definitely.
I'll just have to take them apart and see.
Yeah.
I mean, I could always put something 14 millimeter through there just to see if it'll fit before I go buy this stuff.
Yeah, you might. The main thing is going to be finding the right cups and cones to clash with those bearings.
Yeah, that's what's going to change,
and
is
then
the cups
of course,
and cones.
The bearing diameter has to be wide enough to fit.
Yeah, because the bigger axle is going to need a smaller bearing.
Yeah,
right?
Well,
or smaller cup or whatever.
The races are going to be, the current race is going to be designed for the current bearings, which are going to be larger bearings.
Yes.
And then if it goes, if there's not enough room to run the same bearings, it's probably not going to work. So it'd have to have room for I personally wouldn't say would be possible, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. I just know I had those wheels and I know they were 14s, and these are the exact same wheels with 3/8.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wonder if they just at the factory put the thicker axles on the Pro Performers because they're more
Totally.
bike ramping and skate parking, whereas this one was designed to be slalom.
Yeah.
So it's the same frame. They just put more racing handlebars on it than BMX, and they put more light forks,
Exactly.
light stuff to go faster, but not as strong for jumping and slamming on.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they just swapped axles, and because that bike was a little bit cheaper than the Pro Performer, and that's where they cheapen it, right? It's like thinner axles, thinner forks, couple other things they left out, but other than that, it's the same identical frame.
For sure.
All right, man. So yeah, I'll look around and see if there's any such thing as a 48 spoke. Now, there's no way to reuse that hub and put a free coaster in that hub,
Unfortunately,
no, it has to be a new hub.
yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole added set of technology that goes into that hub.
Okay. Do you have any of those here? Do you have a
hubs?
free coaster hub?
I don't, unfortunately. I don't stock them typically just because they're so particular.
Yeah, it looks like you guys do like 99% mountain bike stuff.
Yeah, we do a lot more mountain and road and like hybrid and stuff for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, that's what people want, right?
exactly,
That's what people
right?
are coming in and asking you for. So you
So-
better have lots of those.
Yeah, so yeah, we do a decent amount of BMX as far as the local shops, as
Yeah.
far as the new goes.
Yeah, I mean, BMX has just died down.
Totally.
It's just not any bike shop's fault. People go, why don't they carry that stuff? It's like, well, because nobody's buying it. You can't sell a wall full of stuff to nobody.
Exactly.
Right? Like if you got 3 people a year coming in for BMX stuff, maybe I'm your 4th, right? And then every day you have people in here for mountain bike stuff. It's pretty obvious why stores have leaned toward the mountain bike stuff. But I would love to see a trend come back toward old school BMX. Like a lot of the stuff they do now is very different. Like the flatland now, it reminds me a lot of figure skating. There's a lot of spinning. Like their whole run will just be one spinning thing with a few tricks in it. But like back in the day, there was like all these weird tricks. Like it was like the weirder, and there was a lot more space between tricks.
Yeah.
Like they would do one trick that was wild, and then they'd just ride around a circle and get ready for their next trick. But nowadays, like you watch the X Games stuff, it's all one flowing, like you get 60 seconds or 90 seconds or whatever, and you just hammer it out all in one go. And so these guys are riding no brakes, you know, all spinning tricks, which is cool. But I would love to see somebody do that and throw in some of the old school tricks. Like if you're doing something like that and then you throw in like a decade or something, that's gonna blow people's minds, but they don't do it. And it's like, you either got the old school guys that are doing that stuff, or you got these new school guys that are doing more figure skating. It's like somebody needs to
Right in between.
put that together, and then that would be like a whole new generation of BMX.
Yeah.
I'm probably too old to be that guy because I'm gonna hurt myself.
Totally.
I used to ride for a team, but I was much younger then. And I mean, we were never that good anyway, but it was fun, right?
Exactly. That's all that counts.
Yeah, that's what counts, is you're having fun. But like, I would love to see somebody take the flatland they're doing now and the old school flatland and put that together.
For sure.
That would be cool. The one thing I know I'll never do is the ramp stuff they're doing at X Games. It's insane, man. When I was young, if you could do a 540 on a quarter pipe, you were a king.
Yeah.
You were a god. But now, that wouldn't even get you any points at the X Games. These guys are doing inverted, flared 900s with no hands.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, just 20 years ago, that was impossible.
Exactly.
And now it's like every one of them are landing those tricks. And even that won't get you gold now. It's like, you got to really step it up. I'm watching the X Games. It's like, man, these guys are like beyond super athletes. They're like, because you watch gymnastics and stuff and they do that stuff, but these guys are doing that with a bike.
Exactly.
And they're flipping the bike around them and up, you know, like doing these Superman stuff now. Like, I'm just blown away, man. It's like, wow.
It's definitely come a long way.
It has, for sure. What was your name, by the way?
Miles.
Miles. Jeff.
Nice to meet you, Jeff.
Yeah. All right. Okay, man. I'll do a little bit of homework. I appreciate you looking into it. Yeah. So let's say I was just gonna buy those 2 wheels. What would I be looking at? For
I could bring
like
up like I mean, those ones obviously aren't the coaster brake ones, but the
No,
Haro,
yeah, something with a coaster
Haro
brake, but
does-
something like that.
I can see what I have.
And it doesn't have to be Haro. I mean, like, I'm just thinking, like, I really want to try it, you know? Like, but then again, I don't want to go too crazy just for one trick.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I can do reverse manuals now. Awesome. It cost me $1,000. You know? I got the bike on such a good deal. I mean, I don't want to go crazy on it.
I'd have to check. So unfortunately, like for my main BMX retailer, they don't sell wheels with the free coasters in.
Oh,
They
so you
just
gotta
sell
build
the
them.
individual hubs.
Yeah, yeah.
The individual hubs are $250,
Oh, that's not bad.
and then I'd say rim, you're probably going to be about $100-120 for a good strong rim. Wheel build labor is $85, and then spokes are $2 a spoke.
So we're looking at probably around $500 to build a nice rear wheel.
Solid rear wheel, yeah, with a free coaster.
Yeah, and the
then
front wheel I
whatever
don't
you
need
wanna
it,
do.
but I could
Yeah.
swap it out to make it match.
Yeah, you could do it. Front wheel obviously is gonna be a lot cheaper. The hubs are
Yeah, because
like
it's just
$100,
right,
$120
right,
compared.
just to make it match.
Exactly. Yeah. But one thing I can do is I can look into like there's a possibility that Haro sells the OEM replacement wheel set for the bike that comes with the free coaster.
Okay,
It's gonna be considerably cheaper.
that would be cool.
The only thing is with it, I'm gonna have to look into the width of the rim.
Right,
And make sure that it's with the wider rim, it will work.
but some of them won't fit into the V, right?
Exactly. So it's working with the brakes. It's gonna
I think on these GTs they're pretty wide compared
And
to some
then,
others,
of course,
but
with the wider rim, you're also gonna get a wider tread foot plant.
yeah,
Well, so
yeah. So the space in here is pretty tight.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, putting the bigger wheel and tire on there might not
I'd
even
say
fit. It's gonna
Unlikely.
be super close.
I'm just gonna go measurement of the outer rim.
Yeah, because like the Haros and stuff, like I'll just show people on the camera now that the bottom of this bike is different. It's wider. They'd make them like this on purpose now to accommodate for these wider tires. So if we just flip this bike upside down for a sec, you'll see right here that this is way wider. Because like you can see, even with this fatter tire, I can still almost get my pinky in there on both sides. Whereas on my IGT, if I put this tire and wheel on there, it's gonna be darn close to touching, if not touching. So maybe I could get away with putting an in-between size tire, because the rim itself isn't that wide, it's these tires that are fat. Like that tire comes way past the rim, right? Yeah. So the rim itself isn't that bad.
Actually, about the same way.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think they're actually the same.
Yeah.
So I could just get maybe a tire in between this and what I have,
Well, yeah. I mean, if
width-wise.
they're the exact same outer width, actually. So
The rims.
The rims, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but this
basi-
tire's just super fat.
yeah, that particular
Yeah.
tire is super wide. The rims wouldn't come with the tire, so you could
Pick the tires.
If I could get that OEM wheel set,
I could put those
you
tires
could just put
back
your
on.
tires
Yeah.
on that.
Cool.
And then the only thing you'd have to do would be that deal with the 14 mil axle, because it is a 14 mil axle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the slot for a 14 on the forks, but
On the fork,
not
yeah.
on the tail.
Yeah, it's actually it's a smaller axle on the front. It's the same size as.
Oh, it's a 3/8 anyway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the front you're already set. It's just the rear.
So none of these guys are running 14s on the front?
No, not it's.
That's a 3/8.
Yeah. So some
Yeah,
of
so
them-
it's so smaller on the front than the back.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old days, it was either 3/8 on both or 14 on both.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah, so to show people there, that's a much thicker axle. You can see that
They
right on the
do
camera.
have on 14 on both for
And
sure.
then this one's a 3/8 at the front. Yeah.
Just this particular model.
Right. Yeah, like you could probably upgrade anything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like these are all 3/8 at the front. 3/8, 3/8, and then they all have the 14 at the back, 14 millimeter thicker axle. Huh. All right, that's a lot of info, but you can see they have like a sealed bearing right in there. There's no cups, there's no rollers, none of that little pellet bearings that fall out on you. Super easy to swap these. They last longer. You don't have to lubricate them. A lot of benefits. But there's a lot of benefits to the old school bikes too,
Yeah.
right? Like the frames, I think, are more stylish. They have, like, that one has the space up at the top for doing frame stands and stuff. And I don't think I've ever seen any of these new bikes come with the frame stand style frames.
Everything's pretty much just kind of all very similar nowadays.
Yeah,
Very similar.
Even the colors, like, you got some cool colors here, but I've been watching, like, the xgames stuff. Everybody has flat black,
Yeah, most of them are
matte green.
the most color you'll see will be like raw stainless steel or matte
It's very
army
strange.
green. Yeah,
But yet you've got the Norcos are all coming back to the older style colors.
Yeah.
Like that's really cool.
yeah, totally.
I wonder when these guys are going to start doing that. Like, I mean, Haro has a few mountain bikes over here that are what I would call old school colors, like the Dayglow pink and stuff, and the Maui blue. And then all their BMX stuff is kind of matte black, matte green.
Yeah, typically
stuff like that.
Yeah, they're all dark army green.
Yeah, I mean, they're making what people
one.
want, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what people are wanting these days. I just find it weird how trends change like that.
Totally.
It's so weird. It's like, you know, years ago, this would be considered, you know, like, it's okay, but it's
Yeah.
not like the hot, glowing, Dayglow orange or Dayglow yellow or
Exactly.
all those colors used to be. And then, you know, now they're making the mountain bikes like that instead. So very strange. But I really do like the gear setups on this. Like, if I could do some of these newer mods to my older bike, that'd be super cool.
For sure. Yeah,
And there
see-
are some kits and stuff out there that I'm hearing about that I haven't checked out. But the first thing I'd want is that free coaster hub.
Yeah, the only thing is when you go with the free coaster, you're going straight into a 9-tooth, 11-tooth max.
Right, so you have to run the smaller gear, so you have to have the upgraded bottom bracket
Otherwise,
kit.
You're going to be really pedaling hard.
Right, yeah, or you couldn't even do it probably.
Exactly.
There's no way with a 44 tooth at the front, you'd be
You
like,
go fast, but you're
yeah, if you were going downhill to start. Good luck cranking up toward a quarter pipe on that, though.
Exactly.
You'd
right?
never even get halfway up it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what you're saying is some of the mods lean on the other mods.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't do this one until you've done that one, or do both at the same time.
Yeah, you
kind of
want to
thing.
do that particular mod, you're going to want to do at the same time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
at
And I kind
least-
of do want to do that anyway. So.
Yeah, so you might as well just do the 3-piece crank set with that bottom
Yeah.
bracket.
Yeah.
And then the wheel set all at the same time, so you're not running a goofy setup.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the way they look too. I mean, the old school is cool because they have the GT on the big disc,
Yeah.
right? And my Pro Performer had it all embossed, and
Yeah.
with the wings and everything, it was all really nice embossed. When it was clean in the sun, it looked like diamonds. It was really cool.
We can still they're still doing some pretty cool design chain rings.
Yeah, so if you want to
nice.
upgrade the chain
Like,
ring,
even-
you
you
can
can
get something a
even-
little more fancy.
Exactly, yeah. With that 3-piece crank set, you can still get something a little bit more designed and kind of particular.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much for the information.
No worries.
I'm going to just grab your info here, and then I can put a link for everybody to check out your shop and give you guys a call if they need something.
Totally.
And yeah, I'll figure out some stuff out, and then maybe we can do some mods to the bike.
For sure.
All right.